Hi, my name's Ishmael Naylor, and today we're going to be talking about the most important aspect in business. Today we're going to be talking about marketing and sales. Now, the reason why sales is so important in business is because everything you do with a business is sales. Even if you're buying, you're actually selling. You need to sell yourself to reduce the price of the product you're buying. So in property in particular, if you're trying to purchase a property from an estate agent or from a direct-to-vendor lead, you are going to have to convince them that you're the best person to buy. So you're going to have to sell yourself. If they like you, they know you and they trust you, then they're more likely going to want to use you as their purchaser, because if they like you, then it's going to make them more relatable to you, and it's going to make it easier to communicate with them and interact, and they're going to feel more comfortable dealing with you. If they know you, then you're going to be able to communicate a lot better, and they're going to know exactly where you're coming from. They're going to know exactly what money you've got, how you work, and how quick you can complete. And if they trust you, they're going to take your word on everything you say. And also, if you say you're going to complete in 4 weeks, you're going to complete in 4 weeks. They know that to be a fact. They're more likely to deal with you than to deal with someone else who says they can complete in 4 weeks, who they've never dealt with before, and then they find out they could overrun the 4-week schedule, and so on. So the most three things that you need to do is you need to get people to know, like, and trust you. So once you've got them to know, like, and trust you, then the sale procedure becomes a lot easier, or the purchase procedure, because then you've got leverage over who you are. You can say, look, I'm so-and-so, and you know I'm going to complete the way I am because I've got this reputation, which will give you a very strong buyer's position. If there's 5 people in the room, they all offer the same, and they know, like, and trust you more than they know, like, and trust the others, you're going to get the deal. The other thing you need to do is sell your product or market your product. So the other thing you need to do is, once you've got your house, you need to advertise your house or market your house, either with an estate agent or independently, to rent it out. And you need to market it to potential tenants, unless you're doing a flip, in which case you still need to market it to potential buyers. So marketing also falls into a most important category. But we're talking about sales today. And the reason why the sales is so important is, once you've got that property advertised, you need to make it in such a way that it sells. You need to advertise it in a selling way. And if you're doing viewings yourself and you get tenants through the door, then you might be able to explain to them why they want to live there. I mean, when an estate agent walks someone around the house, they sell you that product, they sell you that house. They walk you around the house and they say, look, can you see yourself living in this kitchen? Look how well it works with the living space. Look how you can walk through seamlessly through the property. It's really important to be able to sell that house to that potential person, whether it be a potential buyer or whether it be a potential tenant. Now, obviously, we want tenants because we want long-term income, so I generally deal with long-term income tenants and not with flips. So we're going to primarily concentrate on that. So once you've got that tenant in the house, you're going to have to market the house to them, you're going to have to sell the house to them, you're going to have to explain why they would buy this house over some other house. Is it a better location? Has it got a garden? Is it a good price? Is it a higher standard than the average? All these things will allow you to market the property better, and then you explain to the person, the potential buyer, and you sell to them by explaining. The best way to do sales. So the best way to deal with sales is by first explaining what you have to offer. So you've got the house to offer. Then you find out what the potential buyer situation is. Are they ready to move in? Are they wanting to move in? Why are they moving? What enticed them to look at your property? What enticed them to the area of your property? You need to find out about your potential buyer, because once you find out about your potential buyer or your potential tenant, then you can interact with them in a way that you can make them feel comfortable that once they're in the property, you're going to look after them as a landlord. You're going to look after your property, you're going to make sure they're comfortable, you're going to make sure everything is sorted, up to spec and up to standard and doesn't fall into disrepair. And then they're going to feel more comfortable with you being their landlord. And if they feel more comfortable you being their landlord, then they're going to want to interact with you if any small thing happens. So in some cases, on rogue landlords, the tenant doesn't feel comfortable telling the landlord about a small leak. For example, there might be a small leak in your gutter which leaks into the house, or there might be a very small drip in the loft which has caused a stain on the ceiling, and they don't feel comfortable about telling you because they think that maybe you will be like, oh well, whatever, and so they don't tell you. And what happens is that leak gets worse and worse over time, and before you know it, it's thousands of pounds to fix, as opposed to it might have just been a broken tile and you could have got a builder up there and they would have done it for £50 or even less. I mean, in fact it only costs a few pounds for the tile, so in theory it costs you a fiver if you can reach it from a ladder and you can do it yourself. So potentially that could be £5 as opposed to letting that get a lot worse and leaking. So you need to sell your product, you need to sell yourself, you need to sell your service to your potential tenant. And once you've sold that and found out why they want to buy there, you can specify exactly why your product goes above and beyond the other products and emphasize on the points that fitting exactly what they need or what they're looking for. And emphasizing on these points will reinforce the reason for them to get that property, and they'll remember that property whether they buy it or not. They'll remember you, they'll remember the property, and if they ever come to that umming and ahhing about two properties, they're going to choose yours. So this will give you a choice of tenants, and if you've got a choice of tenants, you can choose the ones that fit your requirements. You can choose the best tenants, you can choose the ones that you know feel or are likely to look after the property. Because if they're likely to look after the property, that saves you money, that saves you time, that saves you effort. In the long run, it saves you a lot. So you're better off going for these tenants. So to find those tenants, you obviously have to do the sales. So if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel, click that bell notification icon to get notified of the next video coming out next Tuesday, and find more useful tips on finding tenants, finding properties and the property industry.